Want to know why a 4-star defensive lineman would choose Boston College? Hear our exclusive interview with Quan Williams. All of that and more on today's Locked On Boston College.
You are Locked On Boston College, your daily podcast on the Boston College Eagles, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is Locked On Boston College, AJ Black. On today's show, we're going to be joined by Kwan Williams, a 4-star defensive lineman who committed to Boston College back in January. You're going to hear all about his journey, where he grew up, and how he decided on BC as his destination. We're also going to look at 3 keys for Boston College to defeat UMass, and we'll also get into the news. The biggest piece of news has to do with Saturday's game against UMass. On Wednesday, Jeff Hafley held his press conference. It's his virtual Zoom press conference, and was asked about how the team was going to honor the 20th anniversary of 9/11. Was it just, behind the scenes, or were they going to do something on the field to honor them? And he let it slip. Or actually, he was going to announce it, that Boston College is going to wear the red bandana uniforms on Saturday's game. This is big news. These are uniforms, obviously, that are made to honor Welles Crowther, a Boston College student and lacrosse player that lost his life during 9/11. If you don't know Welles Crowther's story, I'm going to get into it really quick. ESPN does a great documentary. Just look up the man in the red bandana. If you do, be prepared to bring a box of tissues. It is an emotional watch, but it gives a great background story about Welles Crowther. He was a Boston College student who graduated. He worked in New York City in one of the World Trade Center Twin Towers as a businessman, but he also had a part-time job as a firefighter as well. After the planes hit, he was in the building, and he went to help people find the exits, and he was known by wearing that red bandana around his mouth. Helped 12 people get out of the World Trade Center, but unfortunately, he was in there still trying to help people out when one of the World Trade Center buildings went down. Since that time, stories came out that there was a man in the red bandana that helped out. They were able to identify that was Welles Crowther. He had lost his life, but he now lives as a hero. He's a hero who did so much to help so many people. And since then, Boston College has been honoring him by wearing red bandana uniforms. Now, they did this to start it off. 2014, it was around the time of 9/11. They did it against the USC game. It was a big game. They won. Since then, it has kind of trickled around. It's been they wear the uniforms on the red bandana day that goes all over, anywhere on the schedule that's a big opponent. Last year was Notre Dame. Year before was a Friday night game against Kansas. It doesn't really matter when it fell, because some of those games, like Kansas was close to 9/11, the date, or Notre Dame was not. But what they did this year is, now that it's the 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, they are going to wear the uniforms on Saturday, but also have a real red bandana game, because Saturday's game is at McGuirk Stadium, and that is an away game, obviously. So they want to have that opportunity to do the red bandana game at home. Now, I believe this year the red bandana game is sponsored by a company, and that company already let it slip what day it's going to be, and it's going to be on November 7th against Virginia Tech. It's that night game. So you're going to get to they're going to wear the uniforms twice this season. They're going to wear it on Saturday against UMass, and they're going to wear it on the red bandana game against Virginia Tech. Personally, I think this is a great idea to do it now too, because it's the 20th anniversary. It's a big day. And, just to honor Welles Crowther, Hafley said this is something that they've been doing all summer long. They talk about Welles and how he's the model, he's a model of what they want to strive to be. This is going to be a way for them to do it in another big event. But again, if you don't know the story of Welles Crowther, go find the man in the red bandana on YouTube. It's well worth the watch. Before we get into the next segment, let me just let you know that Rock Auto is the sponsor of today's show. The amazing selection reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. Visit rockauto.com and make sure you tell them that Locked On sent you. The other piece of news for today has to do with football, and it's an injury report. Again, Hafley talked today about the updated injury list. We know that Aaron Boomeri is out. Danny Longman's going to be the kicker. Boom has a injury to his right hip. Second time he's had an injury to that hip, which is not a good sign, but we don't know how long he's going to be out. He's out indefinitely. If he has to have surgery on that hip, you got to imagine he won't be back. But so that's big loss for BC. Jalen Gill also had a walking boot on Saturday. He's going to miss the UMass game. He's the wide receiver, transfer from Ohio State. He's going to be out. Jeff Hafley said he hopes to have him back next week. You know, Hafley, he says certain things, but coaches, they don't have to tell the media everything. So, you know, if we don't know what the severity of this injury is, they might need to keep him out longer. Who knows? But Gill is out. He's not going to play. So that would mean Jaden Williams, who we saw last week catch that touchdown pass, most likely will get the start, or CJ Lewis, you'll see a lot of him as well. Secondly, Marcus Valdez sounds like he's a maybe. They don't know exactly if he's ready to play yet or not. He has a hand injury. You know, with both him and Valdez and with Jalen Gill, you don't want to rush it. This is UMass. You're a 39-point favorite. You have enough depth on both ends to cover for that. They don't want to rush that. They don't want to bring that back. So if I was a betting man, Gill's out, I would bet that Valdez doesn't play either, but we'll have to wait and see what he does. The last piece, again, I brought this up on Monday, but I wanted to make sure that it wasn't just me saying this. This is Jeff Hafley saying it as well. I saw some people, worried about they weren't doing enough on offense. You didn't see the right plays. Hafley admitted a bunch of things during his press conference today that you need to hear. First of all, he said that they kept it vanilla, which is what I kept saying that they were going to do. Secondly, he said they kept the playbook incredibly thin. I said that Dracovic said that, but now Hafley's telling you that. He did not want to put as much film on tape against Colgate as he needed to. He kind of implied that he's doing the same thing with UMass too. Because again, if you're playing inferior opponents, and I'm not being disrespectful to UMass, the 39-point underdogs against BC. You do not need to put all of your gadget plays and all of your playbook into the game film so that teams like NC State and teams that you want to maybe catch off guard here or there are going to see it. You do not need to do that. So Hafley, that's what he's doing. That's his choice, and I agree with it, but some of you may not, so that's okay. Now, in a moment, we're going to talk to Quan Williams. He's a 4-star defensive lineman from Owings Mills, Maryland. We'll hear about his journey to Boston College. This is an interview you do not want to miss, and just to let you know, if you like this interview, make sure that you follow us on YouTube, where we have a bunch of other interviews, including ones with Sione Hala, another 4-star, and with Edwin Kalegi, who is a linebacker who committed as well. We're going to be having tons of recruits on here. Hope you enjoy it. Now let's talk about Rock Auto. Rock Auto is a family business that have been serving auto parts customers for the last 20 years. Why spend 30, 50, or even 100% more for the same parts from a chain store or car dealership? Rock Auto has reliably low prices for every customer, and their catalog is super easy to use. Just put in your make and model, and boom, all the parts will all come up, whether it's brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, or even new carpet. Now head on over today to rockauto.com and make sure you write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. rockauto.com. This is Locked On Boston College. AJ Black here. And with me, I have Quan Williams. He is a class of 22 commitment for the Boston College Eagles. He is a defensive lineman from McDonough High School in Owings Mills, Maryland. Quan, how's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. So it's the start of the football season. Boston College is going out there. They're playing. What are your thoughts of seeing BC play on the field so far?
Man, looking explosive out there. I know Coach V going to coach up the D-line. I know Coach Hathaway, everybody else, they looking real explosive. I think we definitely win it all this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
And so, you're a recruit that had a lot of attention. A lot of people wanted you. The Penn State offered you. What was it about Boston College that stood out to you?
Man, there's a lot. I love the campus. I remember back when Coach V first hit me up, we was on Zooms and he was just teaching me how to get better and stuff like that. Stuff like that makes me feel connected, makes me feel welcome. And Coach V is just a great coach. Coach Hack, Coach Sabine, all of them just great people. Make me feel like they're like my family and stuff. So.
Yeah, and Coach Vince Oghobaase, who you're mentioning for fans at home, he's a defensive line coach. He is a coach, I mean, just as a media member that covers, just oozes energy. Is that what he's like when you talk to him too? Like a guy that just seems like, very, very, he cares about you, but he's also got a lot of energy and he's going to teach you a lot as well.
Yes, sir. Very funny guy too. So.
Yep. And so Quan, tell me a little bit about yourself. So you're now a senior.
Yes,
You're a defensive tackle, correct?
Yes, sir.
And tell me a little bit about yourself. Like what's been football? What football has been like for you this year, and where you want to be, what kind of future you're looking for, and go from there.
So I'm from Baltimore City, inner city kid, rough neighborhood. So football has always been like a great sport of mine. So I always wanted to play football because just keep my head straight. Couldn't like get into like other things, like influences, stuff like that. So my journey, I decided to play football when I was 5, so I went to high school, Bandana. I really didn't think I was going to be that good, but I started working, stuff like that, and getting better. And ever since, I started getting offers, stuff like that. You always got to keep your head up. I always kept my head up. Always kept working.
Mm-hmm.
And when I first got my BC offer, and I started interacting with Coach V, it really changed me and stuff like that. And this season been great, actually. I played both ways, so I never got the field. So it's just, I'm a workhorse, And the season has been very good. It's good to get back out there with the guys and interact with my teammates again. Since last season I couldn't play.
So if your coach was to describe you, Quan, what would you say your biggest strength is?
Definitely my hard working skills. Never give up.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Okay. And question for you, I like to always ask this. You're now, so it's the year 2026, I think, and you're finishing up at Boston College. Maybe it's a year early. Maybe you're heading to the NFL. Right. What is your goal to get Boston College football up to, and what's your own personal goal once you get to BC?
So once I get to BC, I'm planning on being one of the best that ever come through BC. Along with some help with Coach V and my work ethic, and hopefully he can take me to NFL, which I have a good shot. I know, especially with him. And if I don't make it in NFL, I can have a side career, a side degree. BC is a great school, so.
Yep. That's great. And what do you think about the program? Where do you see the program in 4 years, like BC as a football team?
4 years, I see it as being the best in the ACC, honestly.
Beating Clemson?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Love it. I love the energy. So have you visited Boston College yet, or is it something you're gonna do?
Yeah, I visited. Yep, I already did. Yep.
Are you coming back during the season too, or is it just one?
So I'm gonna take my official visit sometime December.
Awesome. All right. And do you think are you gonna try to work really hard to play early too?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I've been talking to Coach V and stuff, so y'all definitely will see me on the field when I get there. Yep. So.
Yeah, I mean, as a true freshman, I mean, if you watch the team on Saturday, they played a ton of true freshmen out there. They give, as you said, you work hard. It seems like they're going to give you the chance to play.
Yeah, and Coach V know how to put the boys in the right position. So.
All right, Quan. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Are you on any social media that you want people to follow you on?
Follow me on Instagram, Williams_Quan_, and that's it.
All right, Quan. This is Quan Williams, defensive lineman committed to Boston College. Thank you so much, Quan. We'll talk to you again soon, and good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And just as a reminder, if you liked our interview that we just had with Quan Williams, head over to YouTube. We have a whole section called Big Interviews where you can hear some of the interviews that we've had, and we're going to be adding more and more to that section. Head on back over there, and you can check out interviews with Sione Hala, Edward Kalegi. We're going to have more put up there as time goes on. Hey guys, it's me, AJ. So there are a few things in life that aren't fun to talk about. One of them is excessive sweating. When you are sweating through your shirts for no reason, it's embarrassing, right? Some of you may know that I personally have dealt with this. When I speak in public, I can't help but sweat through my shirt. Now listen, I know this isn't life and death and there are much worse problems in the world, but let's be honest. Nobody likes to pit out during an important speech, interview, or God forbid a first date. I'd rather not worry about it, and that's why I use Sweat Block antiperspirant wipes. Sweat Block is stronger and more effective than most clinical antiperspirants. You simply apply it at night, go to bed, and boom. Next morning, you wake up, wash, and go about your day without worrying about sweat, guaranteed. I know this will sound too good to be true, but I literally only have to use Sweat Block once or twice a week, and it keeps me dry the whole time. No more pitting out, no more picking my shirts based on which one will hide the sweat better. If you or someone you love is dealing with this, you have to check out Sweat Block. Get it today for 20% off at sweatblock.com with promo code LOCKEDON or at Amazon and CVS. It's that time of year again, and all eyes are now turning to football as teams are back on the gridiron to start the football season. As always, BetOnline is your number one spot for all the pro and college football action this season. Get all the updated odds, props, and contests, including online's biggest $500,000 contest and the world's largest $200,000 NFL Survivor contest, open now at BetOnline. Head over to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today to receive your 100% welcome bonus. And be sure to take advantage of their opening day super promo. Make a bet on the Thursday, September 9th season opener between the Super Bowl champion Bucks and the Dallas Cowboys. And if you lose, your wager will be refunded up to $25 for new customers when using promo code NFL100. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. From football, basketball, boxing, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait and take advantage of all the great offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline, your online sportsbook expert. Make sure to use promo code LOCKEDON to get that bonus. This is Locked On Boston College. AJ Black here. We are talking about the 3 keys Boston College needs to do to beat UMass. Now, heading into this game, Boston College is a 38-point favorite. And this is no disrespect to UMass, which I do a lot. UMass is considered like one of the bottom 5 teams in the country. And it's just where it is. They're not very good. But it's a big game for them at home. Boston College still has to figure out ways to take care of business to make sure that they improve upon their Colgate game and get ready for Temple. So what does Boston College need to do to win this game? First of all, they just need to play their game, okay? They need to execute. That's a simple goal for them. That means making sure that they're not making stupid pre-snap penalties. That means making sure you're hitting your receivers, they're not dropping the ball. Holding your blocks, things like that. Just the simple things that they do on offense and on defense, and they will be fine. Now, you want to see Phil Dracovic, not force any passes in. He made a big one against Colgate last week where I was like, ooh, he threw it into bad double coverage. I think it was the third quarter. And that was not one I wanted to see. But you want to see him limit those types of throws. So that execution, the doing the playbook just the way that they know it, that'll be fine. The second one's kind of a continuation of that. They just need to keep it vanilla. As I said in the last segment, Boston College does not need to go out there and throw the kitchen sink at UMass to win. In fact, it would be almost a loss if they have to go out there and do things that they, are not expected because what you're going to show is you're going to have now tape that Florida State or Louisville can watch and go, oh, when, Jalen Gill, or not Jalen Gill because he's not playing, when Zay Flowers, rotates this way, this happens. Or they have a tendency to throw the ball when this happens. Keep it simple. This is not a game that they need to be cute. They don't need to do anything exotic. Just keep it simple. You have the talent to beat UMass with a very vanilla playbook. And this may mean that Boston College can go out there and just run the ball over and over again. Hell, if Zay Flowers catches the ball twice and BC wins by 35, who cares? Just do what you need to do to win this game. And, part of it, I'd love to see the running game just establish itself, right? If that means Dracovic only throws for 200 yards, stats are stats. You just want to make sure that you get everything going. So if you get Travis Levy or Xavier Coleman or Alex Sinkfield going out there, that is a win in itself. So, being able to keep it vanilla, execute. And the final goal, I think, or key to winning this game is just dominating in the trenches, right? UMass, from when I talked to Michael Trainey, he said they're starting or I think it might have been Jeff Halfley that said this, 4 freshman offensive linemen. That should be a field day for the Eagles. You know what I mean? When you're going against a team like Alabama or Clemson and they have freshmen out there, that's a different story than UMass. The level of recruiting is very different. So Boston College's defensive front should be able to manhandle the UMass front 7, the front offensive line. So winning those battles up there, and then that offensive line, man, for BC, they should really be able to push around UMass. UMass let up 52 points against Pitt. They were not very much. I think they let up 41 points last season as a season average. The Eagles should really battle and win that piece as well. I mean, all in all, if BC struggles in any of these pieces, it's still going to probably beat UMass anyways. Not to be dismissive against the UMass Minutemen, but that's just where it is. So on Friday's show, we are going to have Eric Hofstas on, who's going to join and give his prediction. We'll see how much he thinks Boston College is going to win by. We'll also jump around the conference and look at some of the big games heading into this weekend number 2, and we'll talk anything new heading up with BC football. So hopefully we will all see you all again. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow me on Twitter at AJBlack_BC or at LockedOnBC. Thank you all. We'll see you all again soon. Take care.